Welcome, everyone, to the L7C podcast, NFL edition. We have the NFL expert, Justin Akindele, with us today. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good, brother. How you doing, my good friend?
I'm all right, man. I survived that last hour or so of work, which that was wild.
Yeah, to say the least. That's some shit right there.
Yeah, but I was able to get on at 7. Always loving talking NFL with you on this Christmas Eve. So, Merry Christmas Eve. By the time you guys are listening, it'll probably be Christmas or past Christmas. So, from the L7C, wishing y'all a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays with your friends and loved ones. But we're going to be talking some NFL. We're going to be recapping some of the big games that happened this past week. The Saints and the Chiefs, the Cardinals and Eagles, and the Seahawks versus the football team. And we're going to be going over the big games this week because there's games Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday this week, Justin, if I'm right.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So all goddamn weekend we got pro NFL football all goddamn weekend.
That's wild. But before we even get into anything, why do you think NFL's having football on Christmas when they know that's NBA's day?
Well, I mean, why not? I mean, why not try to sneak in the NFL game and take away some of the viewers? I think that game's at 3:30. So who's the second game? NBA.
I know the 5 o'clock game is the Nets and the Celtics.
So. Okay, so that Saints games won't be on there, and then I don't know. It's typical. I guess they want to compete with the NFL. I know they typically do games on that like Saturday, like last week. You know how typically the college football championships already passed, and it's just an open Saturday weekend. So I know they typically do games then, but I guess they just wanted to try to get some more ratings on Christmas, I guess.
Oh, they will, because 2:30 now it's in my head. The 2 o'clock game is the Bucks and the Warriors.
Yeah, so that NFL game is going to definitely beat that game,
which is wild. But
yeah, maybe Nets Celtics. Maybe if the game becomes a blowout, I think people might change the channel then. But yeah, I mean that game, Vikings Saints. I mean it's a big game for the Saints. Vikings are pretty much.
And NFL put it on before LeBron was on because LeBron's on at 8.
Yeah, they knew better. They knew better than that. Come on now, it's LeBron James shit. Come on now.
That's true. So before we get into stuff, how did you do on bets last week or the last time we were on?
Last week, let's see. I was 3-0. Everything I gave out on the podcast 2 weeks ago was hitting. So I was 3-0 2 weeks ago, and then last week I was being a compulsive gambler. I was doing some live betting and just some stuff I don't recommend, like just not being disciplined with it. And
that's funny, right? 3-0. But all right, man, let's hop right into some of these big games from last week. We're going to recap. The biggest one to me was Chiefs versus Saints. Drew Brees was coming back after his injury. These are, as people say, potential Super Bowl matchup. And the game was won by the Chiefs. It was 32-29. But watching that game, especially in the beginning, you would never think the score would be 32-29. Justin, break this one down for us.
Yeah, Chiefs versus Saints. I mean, Drew Brees didn't look good in the first half at all. I mean, definitely rusty, definitely looking a little bit old, but kind of turned it around the second half. But if you really take a deep dive into the box score, I mean, shit, you would think New Orleans will have won. I mean, you would have thought that I mean, not New Orleans would have won, but you would have thought Kansas City would have beat them by more than 3 points. I mean, Kansas City had 34 first downs to 15. They totally outgained them, 411 yards to 285 yards. Time of possession, Kansas City had the ball for 41 minutes to New Orleans' 18. So pretty much at the end of the second quarter, if that safety would have been a touchdown, we talking about a totally different game. We talking about the Saints winning the game.
Yeah, I think that also that game, Cam Jordan got ejected.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did get ejected, and that didn't help either. But yeah, you look Kansas City. If you look just at the stats, like Kansas City should have blown them out.
Yeah, so I want to talk with the Saints because they did take this L, and unless Green Bay loses, who they play Tennessee this week, it's looking like the Saints lost out on that number 1 seed. Now, going forward, how much does that affect them playoff-wise?
I think that they'll still be able. I think they'll win their first playoff game. I think they're still NFC Championship bound. I don't think the bye is. I don't think they absolutely needed the bye. It would have helped them go to the Super Bowl if they had the bye, because if Green Bay gets the bye, you got to go to Lambeau, and it's cold outside.
Yeah,
like it's cold up there. You know, that home field advantage, I think, is going to be a little bit better if Green Bay does get that number 1 seed, because you got to remember, ain't no one going to be there. And you're going to be outside playing that game, cold, no fans, no energy. So it's really good for Green Bay getting the number 1 seed, but I don't think it's going to affect the Saints too much, at least leading up to the NFC Championship game.
And then with the Chiefs, now it's just looking like they're really separating themselves from the rest of the AFC. Like, they've only lost, was it once still?
Yeah, they only lost once, but they're not really dominating anyone. All their games are close, but yeah, they're definitely the team to beat in the AFC.
Oh yeah, man. I just feel like they're finding ways to win. They're even games you think they're not going to win, they win, and that's championship pedigree. So let's go to that next one of teams who don't have championship pedigree. The Cardinals and the Eagles. This is Jalen Hurts' second start after coming off of beating the Saints last week. Cardinals pulled this one off 33-26. You had that it was the most exciting game from last week. Why did you have that?
Because Kyler Murray and Jalen Hurts were putting on a show. Let me tell you Kyler Murray's stat line. The man was 27 for 36, 406 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, and 1 rushing touchdown. Then Jalen Hurts, he was playing just as good. Hurts was about 50% completion percentage, 338 yards, 3 touchdowns, and another rushing touchdown. Then, of course, D-Hop was eating per usual, 9 catches, 169 yards, 1 touchdown. It was a show, man. Those offenses were going up and down the field all game long, and the Eagles really put a scare of the Cardinals. I thought they might have pulled it off, but Arizona came out with the win there.
So Jalen Hurts, he had for a second start, it was a great game. 3 touchdowns, passing, 1 running. He had 3 fumbles, but none lost. I just want to know with the Eagles, and I know we've talked about the Eagles a lot on this podcast, but why does it every time Carson goes out and a new quarterback comes in and they play significantly better? Nick Foles, we already know the Super Bowl run, and then the year after that when Carson got hurt and they were dead in the water, Foles came in, they made the playoffs, won a playoff game, should have beat the Saints if it had bounced off of Aguilar's hands. And then Jalen comes in, and now the team has life. So what is it with that? Because now it's not a coincidence anymore.
Yeah, that was a great eye by you. This is the third time, second quarterback, but third time this is happening. Carson Wentz gets you to some point, and then he'll get hurt or get benched in this case, and then the backup comes in. It gives the team a lift. I don't know if he's not connecting with those guys on the team or what, or he just overrated them. I guess 2017 season was a fluke. Maybe the Carson Wentz we're seeing right now is the Carson Wentz that we're going to get most of the time, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, because even when they first drafted him, they moved hell and high water to get to that number 2 pick because Jared Goff went number 1 in that draft, if I remember. And when people were making excuses for Carson, saying the offensive line is this, the receivers are this, but literally Jalen Hurts, no one else has changed on the offense, and now they look more explosive with the guy who couldn't throw apparently in college because he was in the Oklahoma system, and they're open all the time there. So with Carson, you've been adamant about it. You've been out before ESPN and Fox that they have to keep him because of the contract. Keeping him, you played football all the way throughout till end of high school. What does that do to a locker room when you have a guy who's obviously you guys were getting paid like this, but a guy who got replaced and feels like he shouldn't have been replaced. What does that do for locker room camaraderie?
Well, I mean, he should have been replaced. I mean, shit, look at the stats. I mean, he's been playing like shit. I mean, Carson Wentz has nothing to be mad about. I mean, shit, he was playing bad and he got replaced. I mean, I think he's getting paid so much, so I know it's going to be an open QB competition next year. They're going to have to work on their line. Jalen Hurts last week was still sacked 6 times. I mean, the line still isn't good. I guess Jalen Hurts has a little bit more weapons. They're not as hurt anymore. Miles Sanders is back. Alshon Jeffrey. Now, I don't think Alshon Jeffrey really likes playing with Carson Wentz because I know he preferred Nick Foles. I know that for a fact. He said it. So I think after the season, they're going to reboot it. It's going to be an open QB competition, and then they're going to go and see. And then if Carson Wentz gets beat out, he's just going to have to ride the bench and be a team player and just deal with it until they can trade him.
Did you see that apparently he leaked saying that he doesn't want to be a backup and he'd rather want out?
Yeah, I mean, someone had to leak it. It had to be someone from his camp. Like, Nick, we ain't stupid.
But then again, also with Carson too, if you remember about a year or two back when Carson got paid, this was with the Dak, and they're like, where's Dak's money at? And I'm not saying Dak is Carson Wentz, but I can see somewhere where Jerry Jones is sitting there laughing, saying, "I paid him all this money, and look what happened."
Yeah, but Jerry Jones definitely should pay Dak. You see how the Cowboys are playing now.
Oh yeah, he
and I mean, Cowboys still might draft a quarterback too. I mean, this quarterback class coming up in 2021 is looking like it might be, 4 to 5 deep in the first round, and the rate that quarterback's been hitting at this point, this time, at least 3 of them are good. They're not really busting anymore. So Cowboys might be in line for a quarterback, but we'll wait and see. I mean, the more I've been watching, I've been seeing teams that have significant quarterback issues, and I can definitely see Dak, hitting the open market and getting their job. I know we're gonna talk about the Steelers later, but fuck, Big Ben is playing awful. So they're definitely some spots right there where veteran quarterbacks might be on the way out, and guys like Sam Darnold, Dak Prescott, they can see themselves fitting in that way.
Let's revisit that at the end, actually, about quarterbacks who might need to be going, because some of these teams won't make the playoffs, and they're going to start thinking about the draft. But talking about Pittsburgh, the first team that did beat Pittsburgh this year was the Washington football team, and they were up against Seattle. Seattle won this game 20-15. I didn't even realize this game was that close. It just felt like Seattle was playing. They were like sleepwalking through the game. And our guy, Dwayne Haskins, who I'll have a little segment for, he was terrible.
Trash.
He got better at the end, but he took 2 sacks when they could have potentially won the game. And Washington, outside of getting some more weapons, even though Logan Thomas is coming out to be a really good tight end, actually, who we've slept on, and maybe getting some more receivers. If they get a quarterback or whatever they do with Alex, Washington could actually be a very dangerous team going forward.
The NFC needs to watch out for the Washington football team, the NFC East. It all starts with the defense. I mean, Chase Young, Deron Payne, Montez Sweat, boy. Whew. I didn't realize how good that man was. He is a monster. Good guy. But yeah, that team is going. Just when you have a good defense, I mean, you going to be decent in the league. That's like good defense, 6-7 wins off top. You got a good quarterback, you a playoff team. You good.
Yeah, and where's Chase Young? For only one of the only 2 rookies to be going to the Pro Bowl. I mean, even though the Pro Bowl doesn't mean anything, but getting elected to the Pro Bowl as a rookie, that's good. I mean, he's showing why I personally think he was the best player in the draft last year, but not the Bengals couldn't take him because they needed. So, but with Seattle, we talked about them last time. How at the beginning of the year we had Russ MVP, then they started losing. We saw some of the holes. Their defense can't guard anybody. If you have competent offensive weapons, their defense is bad. And now with this win, they'll be in the playoffs. But what's the ceiling for Seattle going forward?
Ceiling, I mean, Green Bay getting that home field advantage. I cannot stress that enough. It is cold in goddamn Green Bay. I mean, some of those teams are dome teams. I know Tampa's not going to want to go up there. Seattle was beating Green Bay. I mean, but when Seattle is on, they're on. I mean, they can beat anyone. Like I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now. The defense has been playing better. Jamal Adams has 9.5 sacks as a safety, which is insane.
That's wild.
I mean,
wild.
Carlos Dunlap's starting to come on a little bit. They're getting their running backs back. I just don't know like what they're trying to do offensively, and that might catch up to them not having an identity per se on offense. They switch between pounding the rock with Chris Carson and then letting Russ cook. I mean, you got to pick one for most of the game, and I personally think I think they need to pound the ball and let Russ take it over in the fourth quarter.
Agreed. We're going to see what they do. But the biggest shocker of the week literally just happened on Monday. The Bengals versus the Steelers, and the Bengals won pretty handily, 27-17. And oh boy, that was bad.
That was bad. I mean, I was watching the pregame, and Mike Tomlin was doing the little pregame interview before the warm-ups, and he was talking to the reporter, and he didn't sound too confident. He was not like, oh, we're ready to go. He said something along the lines of, we're going to see how we're going to do. We're going to see how we're going to play, and that's what's going to result on me. Now he talking. That man's hilarious, but yeah, they came out fucking flat. Big Ben looked washed as ever. They couldn't run the ball, couldn't pass it, couldn't stop the run on defense. I mean, it was an awful showing. I mean, Steelers are in trouble, man. Steelers are definitely in trouble. If they don't get that offense turned around, it's going to get ugly.
And if the Steelers, because now they won 11 straight, and now they've lost 3 straight. I think they'll be the first team in NFL history, if they lose 5 straight, the first team to go undefeated for 11 games, then just lose the rest of their games. And with the offense, at the beginning of the year, Claypool was doing great, and now I just don't. They're not running the ball. Their run game's bad.
Well, Claypool's their deep threat, so like Big Ben can't get him the ball. Like earlier in the season with Claypool, they were doing some things when they're like running around on end of rounds, doing little cute stuff with the red zone one, but he's mainly their deep threat. And Big Ben doesn't really throw the ball deep. He has the most attempts in the league, but he ain't throwing it more than about 5 yards downfield. But go ahead.
So you said with the deep threat, if he's the deep threat, and then you have James Washington, who can also get deep. And I guess, what is Juju? What's he doing? He should be the primary receiver. He should be getting open on those dink and dunk plays, getting them 3 to 5 yards a catch, and he's not doing any of that.
That's what they try to do. I mean, specifically against the Bengals, since they couldn't run the ball, that's what they were doing. They were trying to double off the Juju, double off Deontay Johnson, but the Bengals were just sitting on all the routes, and they're sitting on the routes. They know it's coming. They're just going to pop in them out. That's how Juju got popping when he fumbled the ball.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Bengals would just sit on the route. Knew the short pass was coming. I think actually during the game, Claypool was he was open on the post, and Big Ben just didn't even see it. He didn't even look for the post. He was already throwing to the flat there and got Juju lit up there. So I don't really think it's the receivers, other than them dropping the ball. You can't be dropping the ball on dude drops.
There was a lot of drop.
It's not the receivers. It's Big Ben and the lack of running the ball. That's the issue with their offense.
So you said a couple podcasts ago, when it was way back, I didn't even think, when we were trying to figure out the Browns and all that stuff, that the Steelers had the hardest remaining schedule.
Yes.
And they have the Colts this Sunday. And the Colts are still fighting for something, so they might lose that game. And then they have the Browns to end the year. And a couple weeks ago, you would think, that's easy. But now it's not so easy. So if the Steelers can go from almost being the number 1 seed to potentially being just one of the final wild cards in.
Yeah, so I got the playoffs, and we're in the game preview now. So I got the scenarios with clinching. So the Steelers clinch the AFC North if they win against Indy. They win it. They won the North. They won this week. They get it done on Sunday. They're NFC North champions. And then the Colts are playing for the playoff rep. They get in with a win and a Ravens loss or a Dolphins loss. So the Colts need to win. The Steelers need to win. Shit, the Colts have been playing a lot better than the Steelers. The Colts can run the ball. The Pittsburgh Steelers their run defense has been a little iffy with all the little injuries at linebacker. I mean, I like the Colts here. I think week 17, we're looking at a Browns Steelers for AFC North Championship. Browns play the Jets this week. I think that's a dub.
Wow. And then I guess with this game, because this game is huge, the Colts and the Steelers. And Phillips isn't playing, right? And Phillips still, as I said 2 weeks ago, he has not had his signature 3-pick game.
He's due. He's due.
He's either going to have it now or in the first round of the playoffs and they lose. But the Colts defense is no joke, and the Steelers offense is a joke. And that's just a recipe for the Colts might blow them out. And I'm starting to go with you on this. Just looking at these stats and the personnel, I really feel like, is it in Indy?
It's in Pittsburgh, so weather might play a factor.
And Jonathan Taylor is playing very well for the Colts.
He's starting to look really good right now. They got two other good running backs too, Hines and Wilkins. So they got a 3-headed running monster. They still got Phillip Rivers, T.Y. Hilton starting to play better. I don't think Phillip Rivers is going to have this 3-pick game because I think they're going to be able to run the ball on Pittsburgh. So I don't think Rivers is going to be throwing around to even be in that position to do that.
Yeah, depending on weather and things like that. That's one of the games where whoever gets ahead first is going to win. Whoever gets that touchdown after a couple field goals, they're going to win the game. And I'm with you. I think I'm going to go Colts here. If the Steelers show some things, then we'll say we're wrong. But right now, going Colts.
I mean, there's no reason to pick the Steelers right now. I mean, there's absolutely no reason.
And we forgot to say during the Bengals game, just FYI, remember, Joe Burrow is not the quarterback. So
Ryan Finley beat them. He's third string. Ryan Finley.
That's bad. But another one, Rams, Seahawks, your top team in the NFC. And as soon as you said that, as you were talking about the top team, the Jets, they lost to the Jets, giving them their first win. As soon as you said they were your NFC favorite.
Just making me look stupid, man. I swear to God, just what?
It's huge too. I mean, they're division rivals, but still, coming off the game, lose. You don't want that team who lost to the Jets. I really feel like the Rams are about to come in like gangbusters.
That's what I'm thinking too. I mean, Jared Goff just he woke up that morning and said, "I'm not about to play good today. I'm about to play like shit," and he did not disappoint. And you know, when Jared, like, I had money on this game, of course. So when you're watching a Rams game and like within like 2 plays, Jared Goff gets sacked. You know you're. I mean, he just absolutely crumbles under pressure. I mean, it's not. If you can get to him, it's going to be bad. But I think in this game, they're going to come out pissed off. They need to win this game. They're McVay's 5-2 against the Rams since he's been coaching there. I mean, if Goff doesn't fuck the game up, I think the Rams win this game.
I just don't see how. I mean, besides sacking Goff, I don't see how Seattle stops the weapons. And if Goff is slinging that thing around, and they have a couple running backs too. Cam Akers is starting to get a little bit of traction, but
yeah, I don't think Cam Akers is playing. I think he's hurt, but they still have 2 other good running backs. I mean, the Rams want to run the ball, and I think they're going to be able to do that against the Seahawks. And I just need the offensive line for the Rams to just keep Goff comfortable, and I think they're going to win. I mean, the Rams won the first game. Week 10, 23-16. Rams are 6 in total DVA, weighted DVA. They got the 7th-ranked offense and the 4th-ranked defense. I mean, I think they're a good team. It's just they just didn't want to play against the Jets. And I think I was watching the media earlier today. They were saying that the Rams weren't really they were looking ahead to the Seahawks game. So you've been looking ahead 2 weeks. You've been working on this game for 2 weeks. I hope you come out and look like it and win the game.
And just on Seattle side, if Seattle does win this game by maybe 7 to 10 points, then I could start to see Seattle potentially going to the NFC Championship game, because these teams might get matched up in the playoffs maybe down the road.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, the Seahawks win the division with a win, so they're going to be playing motivated. They're going to be playing motivated too.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to get a home playoff game, which home field doesn't really matter unless you play somewhere cold, in my eyes, this year. So they both need the win. Seahawks really didn't play that good last game against the Washington football team. The Rams have their front isn't as good as Washington, but they're pretty damn good too with Aaron Donald. I think it's going to be more of the same, and they have and the Rams do have a more prolific offense than the Washington football team. I like the Rams here.
Okay. Let's get to Sunday Night Football, another big one. Titans versus the Packers. Before getting into this, Justin, have we underestimated the Packers?
I don't know. I don't think we have because I don't think they're going to win this game. I mean, this game right here screams Green Bay losing the game. I mean, when they play teams that can run the ball and they're physical, they don't typically win. I mean, in all three of their losses here, they gave up more than 140 yards. And then I always go back to those games against San Francisco last year. They just got ran out of the field. I mean, they got punched in the mouth, and Tannehill Titans can throw the ball too. It's not just Derrick Henry. They can get that thing to Davis, get that thing to AJ Brown. I mean, I like the Titans here.
What's the line on this game?
It is I think it's Green Bay -3.
So home thing. This is going to be a big one because there's a lot riding on this game from both division-wise, NFC and the AFC. And I think if Tennessee starts with the ball and they get Derrick Henry going, I agree with you. But if the Packers, their offense is just in sync, and I'm just going to say it now, the best wide receiver in football is in Green Bay, and I don't think it's close right now.
In 12 games, Devontae Adams has 98 receptions, 1,186 yards, and 14 touchdowns. 14 touchdowns, most in the league, by the way.
Yeah, so this year he's the best wide receiver in the game. And it's the fact that everyone knows where the ball is going to, and you still can't stop it, which I find utterly ridiculous. That's just how good that man is. But
that's the same thing with Tennessee. You know Derrick Henry about to get the ball. Hey, we just gave Devontae Adams stat line. Derrick Henry 5.2 yards a carry on 321 attempts, 1,679 yards, 15 touchdowns. The man is rushing for 120 yards a game.
Oh yeah, it's wild. It's just the formula to beat Tennessee though is that you just got to get ahead of them to eliminate the Derrick Henry running. You remember that Browns game? The Browns were just so far ahead. Derrick Henry was an afterthought.
Yeah, I mean the Browns came out and really got him good.
Aaron Rodgers he's fighting for that MVP too. He might take it from my homeboy.
I mean, yeah, he's fighting for the MVP. I mean, 40 touchdowns, 4 picks, 3 rushing touchdowns. They win this game. They clinch the number 1 seed. The Seahawks lose. So, yeah, they got something to play for too. But I've just seen this game before. I've seen the Packers in this spot against this type of team. I just can't take them. I just can't take them right now.
Packers win this game. You make them your NFC new favorite? Or are you still sticking with the Rams?
I'm going to stick with the Rams.
Okay. As long as you didn't say Tampa Bay, we were okay.
Nah, I don't see them. I don't see them going to Green Bay if that comes to it and winning because we're about to talk about the playoff picture.
Since we're talking about Green Bay, we'll actually do the NFC first. So we have Green Bay 11-3, number 1 right now. New Orleans 10-4. Seattle 10-4. I didn't even know Seattle was 10-4. I thought they were like 9-5. Washington, I really did. Just because the last couple games I saw, when they got smoked by Buffalo, I thought that was like 3 losses in one. But
that was bad. Josh Allen's going crazy that game.
You have the football team, which, man, one of the stories of the year, 6-8. You got the Rams 9-5, Tampa Bay 9-5, Arizona 8-6, and Chicago 7-7 in the 8th spot.
Yeah, Chicago's still in
it. Wow. From those Monday night games, that's crazy. So what are we looking at here? What positioning could change? Because is Washington so far ahead that no other team in the NFC East could catch them?
No. So if they lose this game, if they win and the Giants lose, they win the division outright.
Oh boy.
But if they lose this game and if the Giants win, which I really don't think they're going to win because they're playing Baltimore and Baltimore really needs to win, but
Giants got a defense now. I've seen the Giants get busy this year. They got a defense.
Like I said, Washington clinches with a win and a Giants loss, which means they need a win and the Giants lose, so the Giants win. They're still in play. Everyone's still in play right now. That's crazy. I think the Cowboys are still mathematically and the Eagles are still mathematically in it.
Ow.
So Washington needs to win this game.
Carolina's not a pushover. I mean,
no, they're not.
Oh boy, okay. Well, so those teams are still in play. How did they get back in this? I know they started the year 5-1 and then just went downslide, but
they've been playing well since Mitchell Trubisky's been playing. The offense has been playing good. They've been able to run the ball. Defense is still good, and they beat the Vikings last week, and that was a big win. That knocked the Vikings out and put them in.
So, as you were saying, it's a Christmas game tomorrow. Not even just for the Saints. That game, the Vikings need to win to potentially stay alive.
Yeah, but yeah, the Cowboys play the Eagles this week and the Giants next week. So if the Cowboys win both of those games and Washington loses both of those games, that's the Cowboys' path. And Washington plays Philly next week. I still think Washington's going to get that. They're going to get that 4th seed.
I think they'll get in too. And to be honest, that's going to be dangerous because, like you said, if you have a defensive line that can get to the quarterback, that's big, especially in the playoffs.
They don't have a quarterback, though. I don't know
have a quarterback. But
I don't know how Alex Smith's going to hold up. I really don't know how. Well, I know Dwayne Haskins ain't going to do a goddamn thing in a playoff game. So, yeah, that's the only issue with them. I would take them to beat someone in the playoffs maybe, but they're probably going to be playing the Rams or Seahawks. And, yeah, I don't see it.
Let's head back to the AFC. You got Kansas City at 13-1. The number 2 seed, Buffalo, 11-3. Pittsburgh, 11-3. Tennessee, 10-4. Cleveland, 10-4. Indianapolis, 10-4. Miami 9-5 and Baltimore 9-5. At the beginning of the year, we talked about how the NFC was going to be the crowded race for the playoffs. And outside of the Chiefs, I think actually it's been the AFC because I just read all those things and potentially all these teams are going to have 10+ wins.
Baltimore might not make the playoffs.
Yep.
The Ravens might not make the playoffs, and they have been playing great as of late. I mean, the defense has been playing good. Lamar Jackson looks like the MVP again. I mean, they've been playing good ball, but shit, if Miami doesn't lose the next 2 games, they're not going to get in.
Where's Vegas? And are they the 9th?
Yeah, I think they're done.
Ooh,
they can't get in.
Man, they had a way, man. At the beginning of the year, Vegas was looking like a team to surprise us, but we're looking at Buffalo because they have the tiebreaker over Pittsburgh, and it's crazy how the first year Belichick and Brady era is done, and you potentially have 2 teams in the AFC East about to make the playoffs as soon as that's Patriots, and that's wild.
That's crazy. I just keep looking at the stands. I just want the Colts to win so bad. So that Week 17 Browns Steelers matchups for division, and I just think it'll be so funny that the Steelers were number one in the AFC, and they might mess around and be in a wild card game on the road. That is crazy to me.
If that were to happen in your situation, that game would have to get flexed to Sunday night.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they definitely don't have a Sunday night game right now. Yeah, that'll definitely be the Sunday night game next week. Absolutely. If that happens, NFL might put in the fix so it does happen, honestly.
So I guess now with that, we're talking just a little bit about Cleveland. Oh, on the second NFL podcast, I was saying, why are the Browns worried? They're 5-3 or whatever. You were talking about they need to potentially go get Sam Darnold because Baker was playing like poo at the time, even though you live in Ohio and some of those games in Ohio weather are bad. But since that midway point, Baker has been balling. He's not turning the ball over, which is literally 75% of the issue. You take that out, you're handing it off to Chubb, Kareem Hunt, you're getting it to Landry and Joe. Things have changed in Cleveland, and if they keep this up, they really might be a threat in the playoffs to actually win a game.
I mean, yeah, I could definitely see them winning the game. I mean, I don't think they're going to beat Tennessee a game they got to play them. I don't think they're going to beat Buffalo if they got to go to Buffalo. I don't think they're going to beat Kansas City if they got to go to Arrowhead. So, like, yeah, they definitely turned the corner. I mean, for being the Browns, like, yeah, if they win a playoff game, that is a big step in the right direction. Absolutely. But do I think, I mean, yeah, Baker Mayfield playing well. He's been doing this thing. He's been playing by the book, turning his ass around and handing it off to Nick Chubb. But, yeah, he's been carving some people up lately. But I still don't think the man's that good.
I think that it's always, I mean, it's his third year in the league. He's had 4 coaches.
Yeah.
So that stability thing, and now you finally got stuff stabilized. And it's one of those things like we were talking with Carson Wentz that people, they play better when he's not there. Baker Mayfield plays significantly better when OBJ is not on the field. Don't know why, because he's not forcing it to him. It's just the way it is. But you said those teams that you don't think Cleveland could beat. What if the Colts beat Pittsburgh and the Colts become the 4th seed and you got Cleveland, Indianapolis, the 4-5 matchup?
I can definitely see Cleveland win that game because they beat them before. But these AFC teams are so close, man. I mean, look, these are a lot of good football teams. I just think that everyone in the AFC, all those wild card teams, Kansas City, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, I think they will be really happy if Baltimore does not make it in. I think that because that'll be the upset team to look for. If Baltimore gets in, that is the game. That is the team that might make a run.
Because Baltimore's at 8, so they would play Buffalo.
Yeah, they'll play Buffalo.
And they can beat Buffalo. And to be honest, right now, if Pittsburgh stays at 3, Miami might oust them.
Yeah, I mean, Miami's not really a dynamic offensive team, but the way Pittsburgh's playing, I don't see how they're going to be able to move the ball in Miami too.
Like that's just what I'm like. It's going to be tough. These we're really at the stretch. Like the NFL season's about to be over next week, regular. So these are do or die games for all of these teams. And just looking at Miami, thinking about what they could do maybe next year to be better. I just talked about Odell. Maybe they call Cleveland, get an Odell trade, get a dynamic receiver with Tua.
Odell definitely should be on the block next year because they're doing all this without him. So he's definitely going to be in trade rumors, probably leading up to the draft or something. So yeah, I can see Odell in Miami. Chicago, they get a new quarterback. I mean, Chicago could be a home for Sam Darnold. I'm thinking maybe a Dak Prescott. The Cowboys don't do anything with him. I mean, we might have to see how Mariota plays. Shit, he might be able to get himself back into a starting role like Ryan Tannehill did. But actually, I think I saw something earlier that Derek Carr starting this week. So.
Okay. But all right, that's we gotta wait and see. We're about to see. But now you know what time it is. the Ackies bets of the week. Justin, lay these bets out for us, man. What are the bets for the week?
All right, so I got Miami -3. They gotta go to Vegas. Mm-hmm. I watched that Thursday night game last week, and that defense is god awful. I mean, they let Justin Herbert put on the show, man. They do something with Justin Herbert and Los Angeles, man. He's gonna be something. He's gonna be in the AFC making some noise too, probably next year. But yeah, I like Miami. I mean, Raiders defense isn't very good. I don't know if Derek Carr is playing or not. Miami needs this win. Needs this win bad. Vegas really doesn't have nothing to play for right now. So I like the Dolphins here.
Okay.
This one's a little riskier. I'm taking the Rams on the money line, so straight up bet, no point spread. I'm just picking the Rams to beat the Seahawks straight up.
Okay. All right. I know
I got 10.
Okay.
What were you about to say? Yeah, I got Tennessee earlier. Plus 3.5 over Green Bay. I already said earlier that this thing is a bad matchup for Green Bay. And then I have a 3-team 7-point tease.
Okay.
Now, tease bet is when you take multiple games, so you can either do a tease is, let's say you have so Cleveland versus the Jets this week. It's a 9.5 point spread for Cleveland. You can tease that. You can take that down by 7 points and make it a 2.5 point spread. And I did that with 3 other teams. So I did Cleveland to beat the Jets 9.5 to 2.5. I did Chicago to beat Jacksonville for -7.5 to basically a pick 'em. And then I did New Orleans over Minnesota, tease down -7 to a pick 'em. So all those have to win. So basically, Cleveland got to beat New York, beat the Jets. Chicago got to beat Jacksonville, and New Orleans got to beat Minnesota, and you win the bet.
I'm assuming that New Orleans, Minnesota one's the one you're least confident about in those 3.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about that, but I'm banking on the fact that New Orleans didn't play well last week, so they're going to play better. Drew Brees is not going to be as rusty, and the Vikings don't have nothing to play for right now. And the Vikings beat them in the playoffs last year, so I think the Saints are going to have a little bit more extra motivation for this. They might be up a little bit more for this loss because of the playoffs. A little embarrassing. So
yeah, it was first playoff win, but
yeah.
Speaking of embarrassing, I didn't really want to talk about it, but he's from Ohio State. So Dwayne Haskins was caught maskless. First thing it was said that he was maskless at a strip club partying, but then it was said that he brought the strippers to his house. And
for real?
Yes. And
I didn't know that.
And it was there. So with Dwayne Haskins, first things first, whoever's in your inner circle who put the pictures out there, they need to go. They got to go. Because if this was at your house, so you control the environment, you got to kick them out. Because they're posting that stuff and it's making you look like an idiot. And look, man, Dwayne Haskins right now, NFL career, I personally thought coming out of college he was better than Daniel Jones. I mean, he played at a bigger school, had the stats, all of that, but the Giants went different, and then Washington drafted him. Now he's playing for a guy who didn't even draft him, so he's not tied to him. And every time this guy's been on the field, he's had some bright spots, but he hasn't. But the biggest thing that's been in question is his maturity. The last year when they were about to try and get in victory formation, he was trying to go take a picture with one of the fans, so things like that. And then now this, he's in danger of, if he's not performing on the field and he's being a headache, by next year he'll be on a practice squad. He needs to get his act together, and even to go more into it, just because there's more of them in the league. He needs to understand that he's a black quarterback and he can't be acting like this because he's on a significantly shorter leash than any other quarterback just because of that. So his circle needs to get in his head and be like, yo, you can't be doing this because this is just embarrassing.
Yeah, all good points. I mean, Ron Rivera said when they benched him, like, we're benching Dwayne Haskins because we think our backup quarterbacks give us a better chance to win. We don't want Dwayne Haskins fucking up our playoff chances, basically what Ron Rivera said. And then Alex Smith gets hurt again, and you have an opportunity to come back, potentially get a job back, get some good film out there. And not only do you lose the game, but your dumbass gets caught at the club with strippers. I don't got any problem with no strippers, but fuck, it's a pandemic. You outside with no mask. I mean, come on now, you in the NFL, bro, it's just not a good look. I don't know who's talking to him, what advice he's getting, but he might have fucked up his second chance of being a starting quarterback in the NFL with this. I mean, you can't be doing this. You just gotta be smart.
You don't even have to. I mean, people lose their NFL careers for far less. Look at Rosen. He didn't do anything wrong, and he's almost done.
I mean, he just got beat out by better players.
Well,
it was a cutthroat league, but he didn't get a fair shot. He really didn't.
After 1 year, then Kyler comes in. They're like, "Yep, you're out." If it wasn't for 1 year, it almost would have happened to your guy Sam Darnold. What's about to happen this year?
I mean, I don't think he's going to be the quarterback. Even Jets literally fumbled their first pick, but I still think they're going to draft a quarterback. Justin Fields, good luck.
Well, apparently there's talks now. Some heads in BYU are trying to say their quarterback's better than Justin Fields. And I said, okay.
Don't agree with that. But Zach Wilson, I watched that bowl game. He was going off. He was making some throws. I'm not going to lie. He's good. He looks good. You should watch him, but I don't think he's better than Justin Fields.
But Justin, anything, since we're done talking about Haskins, anything else you want to hit on? Because that was it that we had for the show.
Thinking about Justin Fields with the Jets, I mean, I did watch a lot of that Rams-Jets game last week because I did have money on it, and that was the game I was live betting, thinking that the Jets were going to fuck it up, and they didn't. They do have a couple of nice pieces. I mean, Quentin Williams on their defensive line, the Alabama kid from last year, he was literally the Rams couldn't run the ball against him. Kai Becton, their left tackle from Louisville, they got individual pieces, just not a collection. They got a little something.
It's crazy too because I don't see Sam as that mobile of a quarterback. But if you look at quarterbacks like Mahomes and Rodgers, Wilson, even Murray, obviously Lamar, and then you got people coming in. Trevor Lawrence has everything. He's mobile, can throw. Justin can do that. I mean, you used to think that mobile QBs didn't have a place in the NFL except for anomalies like Mike Vick. But now if you're not mobile and can throw, even your boy Josh Allen can run. So that's starting to look like a new wave, a new resurgence.
Patrick Mahomes run, man. He be pissing me off when he runs because it's not slow. I mean, he don't be running fast, but he just be juking. He just be juking motherfuckers and shit, and just takes that ball and get the first down. Just why are you so good?
Well, yeah, man. Them stationary QBs are almost getting phased out because people like Matt Ryan, Ben Roethlisberger, they can't move out the pocket and they're getting smacked.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard. I mean, offensive line is hard. I mean, blocking for a 5-step, 7-step drop, some of these statue quarterbacks gotta do. I mean, and then just throwing the ball quick all the time. That's easy for a defense to jump on. I mean, that added run dimension just makes it hard for defenses. It's the wave, and it's good. It's good for the league. Honestly, makes the games more fun to watch. In my opinion, if you ask me, so
they do. Anything else, Justin? You got before this crazy, almost playoff eliminator weekend?
Nah, can't wait for it. It's just a big sports weekend in general. I'm just gonna be laid up, eating, watching basketball on Friday. Gonna check out the Saints. Saints on Friday. See LeBron on Friday. Yeah, this is a long weekend of football and NBA. It's gonna be good.
Right. Well, with that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7T podcast. Thank you, Justin, for always coming on, dropping those NFL gems. Again, by the time you're listening to this, Merry Christmas. We hope you guys have a happy holidays. And we will be back soon because NFL playoffs are 2 weeks away. So you're going to hear some real insight from the two of us when it comes to that time and previewing when we get the official matchups.
And we make some picks too. We'll do some Super Bowl picks.
Well, I'm gonna have to I need those playoffs finalized. But with that being said, thank you everyone and take care.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.